But sitting to her left is a young actor straight from Florida. His name is Mathew Ziff. Mathew has done all kinds of shows. He was on the Conan O'Brien show doing a bunch of comedy on there. He just did back-to-back movies. One of them is called Caleb, and the other one is Bucket of Blood, or what was it again?
Mansion of Blood.
Mansion of Blood. let's all hear it from Mr. Mathew Ziff. Hi, Mathew. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
Great. So, how do you like Hollywood? I understand you're brand new out here, right?
Yeah, I love it. I just moved out here about 2 months ago now.
Uh-huh.
And just getting settled in. I really love it here already.
Okay.
Don't want to leave.
So, you came out, and already you've done 2 movies. How did that happen? I mean, what did you do to get the parts? Or?
Well, I came out here, and I've been coming out here for on and off for a while now. And I came out here back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And I auditioned for the movie Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back out here in March and got my call back with you, actually, casting it.
Hey, great casting director. He knows
Awesome
talent when he sees it.
And then we came out here and we filmed. We did it it was in San Diego and in Venice at the skate park. And
I understand you did some interesting stunts while you were on the set.
yes.
Could you tell us about that?
So I was one of the only characters who's not supposed to be skateboarding, and for some reason I decided to go skateboarding.
You wanted to show off, and you went right to the side on a break. And what happened?
I fell. Wasn't a good scene, leave it at that, but I'm all right, so.
He's walking to the side now. We call him Eileen. He actually broke his ankle, but he was a trooper. He stayed on the set, kept working. And then right after he did Caleb, he booked Mansion of Blood.
Mansion of Blood,
And
yeah.
what do you play in that?
Mansion of Blood is written and directed by Mike Donahue. It's starring Gary Busey, Carla Lemley, and Robert Picardo.
Mm-hmm.
And I play Robert Picardo's son.
Okay. And he's from
Star
Trek, right?
Stargate.
Got a lot of that going on here. We've got the Vision Quest, we've got Stargate, we've got all these different shows. Oh, by the way, Caleb, which I think is going to get a new title from what I understand, isn't it called?
Yeah, we just found out recently.
Downflip or Kickflip?
It's called Hardflip now.
Hardflip.
They just switched their name.
And that starred John Schneider and Rosanna Arquette. So
Yeah.
we had a great cast there. But I understand you also are really into sci-fi. And I don't think you could talk to a better person about sci-fi than the lovely lady to my left. So do you have any questions or thoughts about? Did you have a chance to read any of this?
Yes, I did actually. I've been really enjoying the book. I have been reading it, and I think it's so cool how you pulled everything together with you kept it still in an Earth-based story, but then you have all the futuristic things in there. And like one of my passions in addition to acting is robotics. So I really like how you put all the bio-droids, and I remember reading one of the scenes with the riders.
The riders.
The riders, yeah, and I thought that was really funny, cute little scene.
The riders are, because we're genetically splicing all these creatures together, they're half rat, half spider. And
I've known a few agents like that in this town.
And they've gotten out of control, and our hero has to kind of go clean up the yard, essentially, and fight these riders, which is it's a fun sequence.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to continue reading the other books. I haven't gotten to the second book yet, but I really am excited to.
Well, I brought some for you today.
Oh, perfect.
This might be a kid you might want to use on the next film too. Not only does you do martial arts, and what other talents
I'm
do you?
a secondary black belt in Taekwondo. I've also studied Hapkido and Kendo.
Wow.
For just as long. And
That's what he did when he was on the skateboard. He goes, Hapkido! And then he just hurt himself.
And
moving right along.
in addition to acting, I've tried
See
to
that look? Go ahead. Sorry.
tried to keep myself as well-rounded as possible. So I've done every sport from soccer, wrestling, crew, rowing, a whole bunch of random stuff, and then martial arts, and I play alto and baritone saxophone, guitar, bass, and I'm learning how to play piano. And I also, really one of my passions is robotics, so I'm also, in addition to acting, studying engineering. So I get to have that mechanical mindset. So I really like to try and do a little bit of everything.
That's
But
exciting.
other than that, you don't do much, though, right?
Nah,
Where do you study here in Hollywood acting, or did you study when you were back in Florida?
I've started acting. My first job was when I started in modeling actually. My first job was 2 months old for a baby outfit, and I've just been going in New York for a really long time. And I studied in New York for many years. I studied in New York for 10 years. I studied in Miami for 2 years, and now I'm coming out here and I'm starting to study more. I'm starting a class at Upright Citizens Brigade for improv next week, actually.
Improv is the best.
So much fun.
And you like comedy, yes?
I love comedy.
So,
Yeah.
Matthew, what do you hope to do? I mean, now that you've started to take over this town, what's your next goal?
Right now, we're in the works for producing a documentary, which will be finalized on Sunday. So, you'll hear all about that once it's
What's it
once
called?
it's finalized. It's called Never Neverland.
Never Neverland.
Yeah.
We mentioned Gary Marshall a minute ago. Gary always says, you know, if you can do more than just act, if you can write and produce and direct, when you're not acting or you're not writing, you could be directing or writing
exactly.
or whatever. So it's very flexible.
It's survival.
Which you've done, Deborah, very successfully. And in fact, speaking of success, Matthew, you had your own little show on the Conan O'Brien show, didn't you?
Yes.
What was that all about?
Well, as I said, I started in New York for a long time, and I was featured on a skit in Late Night with Conan O'Brien in a Christmas episode. And
Is that you
I
there?
think they're gonna pull this. Yeah, they're pulling.
Oh
the clip
my
up
God!
now.
Look at you. Look exactly the same. There's no change.
I think I was 8 or 9, and they put these.
Is that Harry Potter? Who is that?
They put these glasses on me that are, my eyes are like bugging out. They put their prescription glasses. It was just a really funny thing. And the skit was, what do you want to be when you grow up? So I said, I asked what do I want it to be, what I was going to be when I grew up. And Conan said, well, we can show you. So they pull out this guy who's probably mid-20s, and he does the whole dance and song from Conan's intro, and they say, Late Night with Mathew Ziff. And it shows the whole thing, and we come back, and he's like, so what do you think? And what a loser I'm gonna be, and run off stage, and it was so funny. And what we didn't rehearse, because we rehearsed it, and then the band wasn't there when we rehearsed it, so after I ran off stage, La Bamba from the band was just cracking up for a good extra minute or two that wasn't supposed to be there. And finally Conan just like looks at him and just says, so you thought that was funny, huh? So it was.
Well, we got to get you
fun
doing that
time.
again. You got to come back on the Conan O'Brien show.
I certainly hope so. Conan, I want my seat back. I want my chair. I'm coming for you.
So, speaking of robotics and mechanics and all that kind of stuff, is there anything that you saw in Deborah's book that you envisioned, or anything that you guys could work your talents together on? And
Well, I really like how I really like the biodroids, like I said earlier, how they are part human or part biological, part mechanical, and how they have that genetic code almost like imprinted into them. I thought that was really cool. And I think that our technological advances are progressing towards something very similar to that.
have we come to
Very
the end
cool.
of the show already? Oh my God, the time just flies, doesn't it? Well, first of all, I want to thank all our viewers. I'm going to thank our guests in just a second. Thank all our viewers and chatters. We didn't get to do the chat thing today, but that happens sometimes. Any websites or that you want to plug, or anything, or just some of the movies? You got 2 movies coming out.
Yeah, I just want to plug for Hard Flip, which is scheduled to come out in I think January, February, and
It's currently called Caleb, but they're changing the title.
they're changing it to Hard Flip right now.
Yeah.
And Mansion of Blood, Halloween, should be theaters everywhere.
Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.